He worked for HUD, and we were just taking a walk one night, and he said, "What would you think if I ran for city council?" I was like, I hadn't thought about it, but it's okay. And that was just it. Then it was like a fire. It just took off, and he didn't win his first election, but after that, he was pretty much on the go.
What was that first election like then?
It was like the blind leading the blind. We had no idea what we were doing, and we were just relying on friends to help us, and it was just different. But it didn't discourage him at all. In fact, he got on Board of Adjustment and Board of Appeals. They appointed him to that. And then he was on the commission, planning commission. He stayed involved. He just kept going, and then he won the next election. But yeah, he had made up his mind that that's what he was going to do. And however it took him to do that, he was going to do it. He was a very driven man. I'm as involved in his life. And I probably missed 5 council meetings. Every Monday night they were on, I watched them, no matter how late they lasted. So when he came home, we could talk about them. The kids would watch them with me when they were little, so they knew what was going on. And even when they moved away, they would call and I'd go, "Ooh, Dad's mad tonight." But you only knew because he had to tell. We knew. But he was so kind, and I loved it. I loved the involvement. It didn't affect our family at all. In fact, I think it made our family stronger. And it gave him a sense of what it needs to be a part of a community. You don't just live here. That if you want to make it better, then you have to do something to make it better. This is something most people don't know about him. He's very shy. He was very, very shy. And he didn't like to be in the limelight. He liked sitting in that council seat where he didn't have to be seen. And he didn't like to talk. And that's something people don't know about him either. They think he was just very, he was very well-spoken, and that came from his English major. Yes, from fine arts. But the mayor quit because she wanted to go work for the Corporation Commission, and he was vice mayor. So he moved into the mayor's seat. And it was really hard for him for the first 6 months because he was just too shy. And then once he started it, of course he loved it, but that never would have been his choice. He never would have run for mayor. He loved history. And I think that's why we traveled so much, was because he loved history. This sounds silly, but the children and I would go down and have lunch with him in that cemetery that's downtown Oklahoma City. We'd go to the cemetery and have our lunch there. And we'd just walk around and read the headstones. And it was just so fascinating. And then when we started riding, we'd just stop and look at the headstones. He always rode a motorcycle. And we would travel. And we would always find a cemetery when we were traveling. The maddest he ever was, he got a B on a paper in business communications because he misspelled the word received. He's never forgiven. He dropped the class. He's never forgiven that teacher for that. He was always pretty reserved with people, and people never saw the true him, the playful, funny. There wasn't anything he would not do with his grandchildren or for his grandchildren. And I just don't think people ever saw. He didn't let people see that beautiful, fun side that he had. And it was a side that, that's what we all miss the most. It's like when the kids come over and he's not here to play with them. Or we have parties and he's not here. And I think that's what's harder for our family, not the public persona. And I know those people miss him too, but we just miss that beautiful, fun, sweet man. And that's just hard for people that know him as a public person. They don't know that side. And I guess if there's any legacy I want people to know about him, besides being a public servant, that he was probably one of the most precious papas and dad. And that's what I'd like people to know about him.